Good evening, Mas Haji. My name is Rekslitan, and today I'll be presenting about my MNCs of choice, Samsung, and I'll be explaining about the analysis in Indonesia. So here are the table of contents. The first one is what is Samsung, and then next we'll be talking about case study on Indonesia, and then we'll be continuing with the analysis of each theories, as you can see here, the expansion motive, Ollie framework, GPN theory, home host country relations, diamond theory, Porter's five forces, and the last is sustainable business model canvas. So let's begin with what is Samsung. So Samsung Group is the largest multinational conglomerate in South Korea, as we call Chaebol. They headquartered in Samsung Town in Seoul. They were founded by Lee Byung-chul in 1938. Samsung initially started as a small trading company dealing with rice, noodles, and other basic goods. So over time, Samsung grew rapidly by diversifying into various sectors such as textiles, food processing, insurance, securities, and retails before they eventually entered the electronics industry in the late 1960s and also the construction and shipbuilding sector in the mid 1970s. So by today, Samsung Group has numerous subsidiaries, mostly operated under the Samsung brand, and has become a major player in various fields, such as we know, they're famous of in electronics, telecommunications, semiconductors, and also home appliances, as well as the sectors that they started running into in the early days. So, as we know that the business philosophy focuses on technological innovation and product quality to enrich people's lives globally. So, Samsung, with over 200,000 employees spread across multiple countries, and Samsung continues to be a pioneer in the digital revolution and plays a significant role in the economic growth both South Korea and the rest of the world as well. Now we'll be moving on into the case study on Indonesia. So, as we know, Samsung is a major industrial and economic force in Indonesia, which they invest over 30 trillion Indonesian rupiahs through foreign direct investments. And also they establish manufacturing facilities and also R&D centers. And they have created over 25,000 job openings. They also boost household incomes and domestic consumption. And their expected export value of Samsung products by 2023 is estimated in 50 trillion Indonesian rupiahs. And Samsung contributes approximately 15 trillion Indonesian rupiahs annually in taxes to the Indonesian government. And they also support local development by technology transfer and human resource training. They also encourage the growth of supporting sectors and also MSME collaborations. And they have also implemented social media marketing strategy in which they successfully increase customer satisfaction, brand image awareness, and especially among young Instagram users. And their strong brand image has greater influence on satisfaction than brand awareness. And this enhances long-term customer loyalty, and market relevance. Next is their product innovation and also customer loyalty. Because of their product innovation, it strongly influences the customer loyalty. From a 100 user quantitative study, it shows that 35% of the loyalty variation linked to innovation factors by Samsung, such as relative advantage, technical compatibility, and also the ease of use. And these continuous innovation of Samsung and an emotional connection with customers are the key to maintain the market leadership. But Samsung has also showing some potential drawbacks here because Samsung's market dominance may lead to unhealthy competition and also pressuring on local businesses. Okay, so we'll be starting our first analysis of Samsung's expansion to Indonesia using the expansion motive by John Dunning. So the first one is from based on the market seeker motive. Samsung here chose Surabaya because the city, as we know, is the second largest economic center after Jakarta, with many middle to upper class consumer purchasing power and also their high level of urbanization. And the second one, from the efficiency seeker motive, Samsung here are less dependent on local resources as most of their key components, as we know, are imported and also the manufacturing is done elsewhere. And the third one, from the resource seeker motive, Samsung locates regional distribution hubs near Tanjung Perak Port for their logistic efficiency. And the last one from the strategic seeker, Samsung here builds multiple Samsung Experience store in Surabaya for them to increase their brand engagement and also the loyalty of high-end customers. Next one is from the OLI framework. So the first aspect is the ownership aspect. So Samsung here owns high R&D technology. They also have a good product ecosystem, they call it Galaxy, which is also a premium global brand. And the second one, from their location aspects, as we know, and I've mentioned before in the previous slide, they chose Surabaya as one of Indonesia's major city after Jakarta, that the city is filled with digital HR and they have strong infrastructure in the port and logistics sector and they have a middle upper market like I've said before. And the last one from the internalization aspect, Samsung here has full control over service and also the distribution in form of like Samsung Store, Samsung Experience Center, and also the related and supporting industries. Okay, so we'll be moving on into Samsung's analysis based on the global production network. So the first one is the tangible asset. So Samsung here has physical facilities in Indonesia, such as their service center, showroom, and also their distribution offices. Although their main manufacturing is in Vietnam or Korea, but they still have tangible assets in the form of logistic networks, training facilities, and also local warehouses in regions such as Surabaya. And the second one is their intangible assets. So here Samsung controls huge intangible assets such as their global brand, intellectual property in the form of patents and also designs, but also their advanced manufacturing technology. And here, global reputation and product trusts are also important intangible assets in the Indonesian market. And the third one, in the institutional linkages, Samsung has strategic partnerships with local governments, such as the regional government in Surabaya and the Ministry of Industry, as we know with the TKDN and also P3DN policy. And also, they have some efforts in the educational institutions through vocational training and also digital technology programs such as Samsung Innovation Campus. So these efforts strengthens their embeddedness in the Indonesian institutional environment. And the fourth one is their social networks. So here Samsung builds social networks through partnership with local distributors, digital influencers, and user communities. So they called Samsung members. And these relationships strengthen their community-based marketing and also their distribution strategy in the Indonesian market. And the last one is their knowledge flows. So they have two ways of knowledge transfer. The first one is from their HQ from South Korea to Indonesia, through efforts such as staff training, ERP systems, and also marketing. But beside that, from the Indonesian market to HQ, uh, it is in form of inputs for local customization, such as like smartphone features that suits Indonesian consumer behavior. So we're gonna talk about the home-host country relations between Indonesia and Korea by Samsung. So the first one, Samsung as one of the leading technology advancements because they have high research and development in smartphones, electronics, home appliances, or even AI or something. And because Samsung here have boosted Indonesia's economic growth by investments in form of foreign direct investments and also technological transfers to Indonesian laborers. And the third one, Indonesia here provides market, cheap labor, and also a high consumer rate. So, for example, here there are factories in Cikarang and Surabaya that were established for Samsung's manufacturing their products. And the last one, because Samsung here cooperates with Indonesia, this indirectly strengthen their economic ties to ASEAN via Indonesia. Because by creating the cooperation between Samsung and Indonesia, this implicitly um, gives the opportunity for Samsung to reach a broader ASEAN market, not only in Indonesia, but also in other ASEAN countries. Okay, so next we have the diamond theory analysis. So the first one is the condition factor in Indonesia. So Samsung here relies on global strengths, such as the research and technology from its R&D center in South Korea. Meanwhile, in Surabaya, they utilize skilled human resources from institutions such as ITS and UNER that produce skilled labors or manpowers in engineering, technology, and also informatics sectors. But also they got the support from the 4G and 5G network infrastructure and the city's digitalization program that strengthens their location advantage. So the next one is the demand factor in Indonesia. So the demand in Surabaya is high for premium products, and also their cutting-edge technology ecosystems are in line with the city's upper middle class profile with most of them. And Surabaya as one of the cities with the highest digital penetration in Indonesia, that this makes it a key market for Samsung. And the third one is the related and supporting industries. So Samsung has a large distributor network such as Rajaya and Erafone, and as well as telecom operator partners such as Telkomsel, XL, maybe 3, or etc. And they have also opened an official service center and Samsung Experience Center in Surabaya. And the last one is the firm strategy, structure, and also rivalry. So Samsung implements a strategy of continuous innovation and a full control over its ecosystem, such as One UI and the Galaxy ecosystem, and they compete fiercely with their rivals here, Xiaomi and Oppo, especially in the mid-range segment. Okay, so next one is the Porter's forces. So the first one is their competitive rivalry, which tends to be very high because here Samsung competes aggressively with other brands such as Xiaomi, Oppo, Vivo, Realme in the middle segment. And the second one is the threat of new entrants. For Samsung, it's relatively low because of their strong market positions, their premium brands, and also their high barriers for other products because of their R&D, the distribution, and also they have achieved the Tekadaan policy. made by the Indonesian government. And the third one is the bargaining power of suppliers. Here for Samsung is relatively low because, as I've mentioned before, Samsung produces many of its own components, such as chips, screens, in their home manufacturing. And the next one, the bargaining power of buyers. For Samsung, it's relatively high because Surabayan consumers has many choices and they are very sensitive to price and also features that is given or shown to them. And the last one is the threat of substitute products. For Samsung, it's intermediate. So old products, second-hand market tablets or laptops from Samsung, they can be replaced by other cheaper and more advanced products based on the selling value. Okay, so we'll be moving on into the last slide of this presentation. It comes down to Samsung's sustainable business model canvas in Indonesia. So we'll start from the value creation from their key stakeholders. There are Surabaya's government, local major distribution partners such as Arajaya and Arafone, customers, digital infrastructure providers, local workforce, their official service centers, local customers, and also retailers. So their key activities including global R&D distribution, marketing large-scale manufacturing, their continuous innovation for every products they have made, and also maintaining their after-sales service. And third one is key resources and capabilities. As previously said before, Samsung has advanced R&D technology, and their product ecosystem is very top-notch, such as the Galaxy series and also SmartThings. But we can't forget their UI also, One UI. And they have a strong global brand, and they have control over distribution and service network, particularly in Indonesia, and also their manufacturing infrastructure. Second one is their value proposition. For their profit, they try to increase profit by margins through direct distribution, a premium mid-range market penetration in Indonesian market especially, and also efficiency via local production by establishing manufacturing factories in Cikarang and also Surabaya, and also their supply chain control, particularly in their in-house components. For the people, Samsung tried to empower local workforce. They also giving technical training and contributing to local digital development. And for the planet, Samsung always enhances their energy efficient products. They have a program for device recycling for the e-waste, and also they always try to reduce emission in their logistics and also the manufacturing for their products. And the third one is their value capture. So first one, we got cost structure. Of course, their expenses were in the research and development because they have to keep innovating for their upcoming products. And there are production and also logistic costs. They also have marketing costs and also the investment in local human capital in the region, especially in Indonesia. So the revenue streams they got from device sales, anything from smartphones, tablet, wearables, or anything, and also their digital services such as Samsung Pay, Samsung Cloud, and their after-sale services. And the last one is how they deliver their value. There are three ways. The first one is the customer relationship. Of course, they're maintaining the good performance of their after-sale service in form of service centers for any Samsung products. and they're also giving their user a warranty, and they try to create a community like Galaxy user community, and also they enhance their digital engagement through apps and also social media platform. And their channels is from their retail outlets such as the Samsung Experience Store, Eraphone, and then we got e-commerce or online marketplaces like Tokopedia and also Shopee. And the last one is from telecom operators like XL, Telkomsel, anything like that. And the last one is their customer segments. Samsung always targets middle to upper class consumers. They also targeted tech-savvy users and the loyal Samsung consumers that have maybe enjoy or satisfied with previous Samsung products or even smartphones maybe. And they also target students and also young professionals in urban areas. That's why they got a big market in Surabaya because Surabaya is a highly urbanized area. And in conclusion, Samsung's performance in Indonesia is in the middle between the three regions that my group analyzes. India is the most competitive. Meanwhile, Indonesia is still competitive, but not the most dominant player, unlike in India. But Indonesia, performance-wise, is much better than China, because Samsung's performance in China, they're very poor because they can compete with Xiaomi and other Chinese brands like Huawei and etc. So yeah, I think that's all from me regarding the Indonesian region presentation. Thank you so much, Mas Haji. I apologize for any mistakes I've made in this video. Thank you so much and have a nice day, Mas.